All right, so once you've got your screen print done, you need to come over here to the sink and clean this. So you want to go ahead and just turn the water on right here. And remember that we're dealing with acrylic paint, basically, that we're screen printing through an open, through an open stencil. So we just need to make sure it stays wet, and then it'll all rinse off with water. As soon as acrylic ink dries, it becomes waterproof, right? So it becomes this plastic polymer that we'll never be able to get off of there. So you want to just try and do the best you can and make sure that you got everything kind of wet, and I like to put it in here. And then I like to get a paper towel or something like that and just work on sort of just getting as much of this ink off as I can. I try to scrape as much of it off into the garbage can as possible before I bring it over here to the sink. So. Okay, so as soon as I have my screen pretty well rinsed loose, what I like to do is put it in the power washer just to kind of spray it down really fast. So we want to turn on both valves for the water. Make sure we get our water going back into the screen printing or into the power washer. And then we'll put this back in here. Check to make sure, turn the camera here. You want to check to make sure that there's water coming out. So I like to get all of the kind of excess paint off of there that way, and then you want to go ahead and put your protective shield back on, turn the power washer on, and then we'll hit it, but not heavily, right? Just real light. Take the shield down, and we want to flip it around and hit the other side as well. So, and you remember, we still have our tape on the back of this thing, so the nice thing about this tape is once it gets wet, just peel it off of there. We have to be really careful about what we send down the sink. We don't want to send chemicals down there that will damage the environment. We also don't want to send a lot of paint and ink down there, because if it goes down, it'll clog the drain. So, so I'll just go ahead and hit this from back here. I'll put on the guard just in case we have a lot of any ink still left on there. Since we're not using chemicals, you don't necessarily have to put the goggles on, although it's never a bad idea. So now we have a screen that's been cleaned. You want to make sure that you don't have any ink left in it. So you want to make sure that the ink is all dissolved out of there, that we haven't left any big chunks of stain. It'll stain every once in a while, so sometimes you'll get a little bit of a stain in your screen that's a little bit annoying, but it's not a big deal. You just want to make sure that you don't have ink left drying in the screen. So when you're done, now we can go print this guy, who's going to go over the top of that blue layer, and we'll get to see what those two things look like together. Oh, and make sure that you clean your squeegee again. So don't just leave that in the sink, right? These will get warped and wrecked really fast. So make sure you clean your squeegee and that ink knife that we have still have over there. Want to make sure we're cleaning these two things up. So scrub this down really good. Don't leave any ink on it. And make sure that everything is clean and prepared and put away for whoever has to come along next and do some work.